Versatile Mage. Chapter 316. Just in time, Zan Kong. Crap. A pack of tyrant lizards are heading toward us. A soldier who was in charge of observing the surroundings blurted out. The giant lizards would never be able to break through the defense. After all, they were battle mages who had gone through countless battles. They knew how to exploit the weaknesses of the demon beasts to set up a temporary fortress. However, the tyrant lizards were a completely different story. Each tyrant lizard that had appeared would inflict some damage to their formation. They would need a couple of intermediate spells to hold them off. However, a pack of tyrant lizards was definitely a nightmare for them. They were all trying to hold the overwhelming number of giant lizards back. Who would have the spare firepower to deal with the tyrant lizards? Seeing the pack of tyrant lizards taking up half of the street, with the different colored skins indicating the element they possessed, the soldiers could no longer remain calm as before. Death was just around the corner. Clear a path, now. Jiang Yi demanded. They had to break free from the demon beasts. Otherwise, their entire troop would be wiped out here. Meanwhile, Mo Fan had used the fleeing shadow to distance himself from the main street. He was still at the center of Jinlan City, but for some reason, the buildings nearby had all collapsed. The whole place was full of debris. He could not see the end of it with a glance. There was no swamp nearby. Although he could still see the towering nest in the distance, there were barely any giant lizards nearby. Mo Fan stood on the remains of an observation tower and looked at the soldiers who were slowly drowning among the demon beasts. He could imagine the fear replacing their arrogant looks. He could also imagine the disbelief on Jiang Yi's face when she lost sight of him. This bunch of idiots, still thinking they stood a chance against him. They would never expect him to be a shadow magician, too. He could easily move around as long as there were shadows near him. The giant lizards were extremely slow with their reactions. They would never notice him when he was using their shadows to move around. It was the main reason why Mo Fan had decided to venture deep into their territory. Most importantly, he had managed to rank up. Mo Fan now understood why many of their seniors had encouraged the younger magicians to have more battles against the demon beasts. Meditating was indeed important, but the best way to improve a human's potential was through fighting. If he weren't surrounded by the demon beasts, Mo Fan believed that he would have needed at least another half a year to improve his fire nebula to the 3rd tier. Fiery Fist, 9 halls. I've finally mastered such a domineering attack. Mo Fan clenched his right fist as he recalled the destruction wrought by the giant fire pillars. He still remembered his first time seeing the attack from Tang Yu. Back then, Tang Yu was so powerful that Mo Fan had the urge to bow before her. She might have reached a greater height by now, but at least he had caught up to her strength back then. Besides, she was an agent of the magic courts. Leaning back, Mo Fan began to take a rest. He was slightly worn out from the battle before. Now that he was safe, he was not in a rush to leave, since he was interested in admiring the fate of the evil battle mages when they ended up dead. What's that? Mo Fan realized a pair of white wings were flapping in the sky. He gathered his thoughts and glanced ahead, taking a clearer look. The following second, his body began to tremble as if he had been struck by lightning. It was a heavenly eagle with a pair of snowy white wings, slightly bigger than an ordinary one. It was flapping its wings as it soared across the sky above Jinlan City. Its claws were extremely huge and were carrying a giant net. 4 people were trapped inside the net. It looked like they had lost control of their minds. They were utterly helpless against the net and were being dragged around like little chicks. Their eyes were looking at their surroundings helplessly. Mo Fan was utterly familiar with them, as they were Zhao Manting, Mu Nujiao, Mu Ningzhu, and Bai Tingting. Flames of anger ignited within Mo Fan's heart. He finally realized why Lu Nian was not going after him. It turned out that the devil was chasing after his friends. He was hanging them in the air just to display his bargaining chips. Mo Fan was exceedingly furious. How could someone be so despicable? If he could turn his anger into fire around his fist, he would surely have smashed that son of a bitch's face with his bare hands. Mo Fan, I'll only say this once, whether you can hear it or not. Come and kneel in front of me at once. Otherwise, I'll be throwing 'em down from this height. Don't you worry, I've sealed their souls. I can guarantee you that they won't be able to cast a single spell during the fall. According to my experience, even a warrior-level demon beast will be smashed into minced meat from this height. Forget about the little kid from the Zhao family who's on the verge of dying after I've beaten the crap out of him. However, it would be a pity for the girl with the ice element who's still unconscious. I believe she's very important to you. If that's not good enough, how about the three of them together? Lu Nian's devil-like voice echoed in the sky. He had purposely enhanced his voice with his magic, making sure that it would spread to every corner of the city. As Mo Fan heard the words, flames uncontrollably burst out under his feet. He could no longer control the rage inside him. Even the outrageous Black Vatican had never made him so angry before. He never thought it would be a person wearing the uniform of a battle mage. Mo Fan, this devil will still kill us even after you've shown yourself. Go back to the capital, to the Magic City. You have to let the Enforcement Union and the army know what happened here. Zhao Manting, who was severely injured, let out a scream. He was unable to yell out with magic, as his soul was being sealed. He could only scream at the top of his voice, hoping Mo Fan could hear him somewhere down there. That being said, there was no chance Mo Fan could hear him due to the height. Bai Tingting and Mu Nujiao remained silent. Their ears were filled with the echoes of Lu Nian's terrible laughter. Up in the sky, a great burst of wind swept forward, parting the clouds in a blue line. A pair of wind wings slowly appeared in the blue sky, as a man wearing a wind jacket embroidered with a different pattern on its back flew toward the city rapidly. The man had a handsome, stubbled face. Although his collars were upright, an obvious scar going across his neck all the way to his chest could still be seen. Lu Nian, you've committed a terrible crime. Let go of the students at once. The man approached the giant heavenly eagle and snapped furiously. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.